Okay, questions of me. First, questions about immersion. Any questions about the program, the format, cost, structure, anything at all? I'll start with what Joseph and Kelsey have fed me. So is there overlap between immersion and, for instance, the leading coaching workshop? So we have a variety of workshops that are pretty popular. We have a one-day quick dive into responsibility thinking for leaders and coaches that's called the Responsibility Process Leading Coaching Workshop. And my answer to you is that, yeah, the content's going to be the same. Right? We have a few simple models, right? So immersion is not about the content. Immersion is about changing your life. Right? It's about you learning to apply it over and over and over and over and over to break through every challenge, to face any obstacle, and to get to responsibility thinking. Like I said, if you want the content, it's all out there. Responsibility plus process plus Avery. And any search engine will fill up pages of content for you. John.
Question about timing. I have a scheduling conflict next week. I would not be able to take in the first session. How much of a deal breaker is that?
It's not a deal breaker at all. We work for the busiest people in the world, and we realize that nobody can make every event live. So more than two-thirds of our events are recorded and available almost immediately afterwards. So all of the core modules, all 8 core modules and all 8 Q&A calls are recorded and available for you for replay. Only the mastery sessions are not recorded. And so I'm glad you asked this question, John, because what I would do is make sure, if you want the CRG distinction, if you want the Certified Responsibility Graduate distinction, the requirements are that you participate in either live or recorded, all 16 of the core modules and the Q&As, and 4 of the 7 application masteries. So the only critical thing, if you want the CRG distinction, is that you look at the schedule and you block your calendar for as many of those 7 masteries as you can.
Yeah, because that was the thing I was most concerned about was, like, when I'm looking at the schedule now, it says cohort 3, core module 1 on Wednesday, 29th of July. When is the mastery conversation?
So the mastery conversations start for you after you finish the 4th core module. So they start in the 9th week. Or maybe the 10th week. So the way it's designed is I want you to have a core set of information before you start the masteries. So I want you to get through core modules 1, 2, 3, and 4 and the associated Q&As before we start the mastery calls.
Got it. I see. And those mastery calls are identified here as Q&A dialogue?
No, the Q&A is the Q&A. So there's 3 components. I'm glad you're asking. There's what we call core modules. So there's core module 1 through core module 8. And core module 1 starts a week from today at the same time. And then there's Q&A calls, and Q&A calls are at the same time. And the core modules and the Q&As are on alternate weeks. So there's a core module in week 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 12, 14, and 16. And there's a Q&A in week 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Well, you get it, right? They alternate. The core modules are 2 weeks apart. There's a Q&A call in between each one. And application mastery, just look a little farther down on the schedule and it will say application mastery. And they will usually be on a different day, a Monday, at the same time of day, which is UTC -5, 11 a.m. UFA Central.
In the evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Yeah. Other questions? Lenore.
Well, this is kind of actually a question to one of the speakers, but I was a little bit slow. So Rhonda mentions that she learned to celebrate her victories. And as this is something that I really, really struggle with, to the point of view that a couple of weeks ago, I realized that some people do it on a daily basis. And this was just totally mind blowing to me. So I would love to hear a little bit about how you learned that, if you're okay telling.
Sure. There's a lot of different ways you can celebrate wins, and that's some of the things you'll learn when you're part of the immersion program. But I think the biggest thing that I took away was there's no size to celebrating wins. Like, it doesn't have to be a big thing that you do to celebrate a win. It could be like, hey, I planned on cleaning my desk today and I actually did it. Like, I mean, I just never really gave myself a lot of credit for things like that. Or, you know, a lot of times, you know, I just wasn't good at taking compliments at all. So for me, that was just kind of a breakthrough with some of the, maybe, let's just be blunt, some of the negative self-talk that goes on that Christopher was alluding to. And it was just something that was very comfortable for me. And now I'm kind of like going, I don't want to be in that control prison anymore. I want to celebrate things, you know, life is beautiful. And I'm passionate about what I do, and you know, I should give myself a little more credit, and I give other people credit. I've always been good at giving other people credit, but I'm actually teaching other people to not just celebrate the big things, but also take the time to celebrate those little things too.
Yeah, thank you for answering.
Oh, thanks for asking.
Let me add a quick distinction there. So intention is one of the mental capabilities that we're helping you develop. One of my beliefs, one of the things that Responsibility has led me to believe, is that I am always creating my entire reality, whether I believe it or not, whether I'm owning it or not. But it's created through my filters, my belief system, my value system that I've adopted. And that means if there's something happening that I don't like, you know, I'm causing that for myself through my own mind. And one of the ways that we learn this is we start a daily practice of claiming wins. We don't even call it celebrating. So other people will tell you to celebrate victories, which is the language that you use, Lenore. That's not what we're doing here. We're simply training ourselves to realize that I'm winning all the time because I'm always creating my reality. I just don't usually realize that I'm creating my reality. So the second practice that we assign is a practice of every day simply claiming wins. And as Rhonda said, a win doesn't have a size, right? So just before this thing started, I decided to draw a card called Mentor Me Christopher, and I drew that card, and that's a win.
And if you don't mind, Christopher, I'd also like to add another thing I learned from the program was the I ams. And that's very powerful too.
Ah, yes. Thank you. So I am statements, affirmations. So what's at play here? I'll go a little bit into the content. What's at play here, Lenore? I would speculate that the reason that you, quote, aren't very good at claiming victories is because society has just done a really good job of training you that you're never good enough. That's all. And I'd like to tell you that you're good enough. So it's a really good example of how the lower mind seeks approval, right? And so what we learn that we can't approve of ourselves because somewhere, some part of society taught us that we couldn't be good enough yet to claim any kind of a win or to have what we want. Yeah, so I approve of me, I approve of you. Other questions? Nelson.
Will the core modules will have takeaway exercises for us each week, or will the Q&A sessions be mostly driven by the attempt to apply the principles on the following week?
Good question. There are exercises and practices in every core module. So exercise is something that we intend for you to apply to yourself now as part of learning that module. The practices are things that we suggest you put in your tool belt. And every module has exercises and practices, and the Q&A calls will often be pulling those exercises and those practices out. Is that what you were hoping? or something different? Yeah. Good. Again, it's there is no fluff in this program anywhere. It's the most basic set of tools that's based on this very precise psychology of the responsibility process that's true for every person every time. It's the most basic set of tools that we could find to help you learn. So that's why it's only 12 hours of content. And the benefit is in the practice. Kim Chi, will application mastery be recorded? Kim Chi, would you like application mastery to be recorded?
I got a lot of values from application mastery. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Kim Chi. Thank you. I'm looking at your beautiful picture. So Kim Chi and I've known each other for years. Kim Chi is a member of Responsibility Mastery. So Responsibility Mastery is the ongoing community that you can join after you do immersion if you want to continue with our help. So Responsibility Immersion, 20-week course. Responsibility Mastery is a membership community with members all over the world, and Kim Chi is a member, and most of the people who were on the call here helping us are members. So Kim Chi, this is a constant area of creative tension for us to figure out what to do. So the reason that we made the decision to not record application mastery is because of the intimate nature of it, and because of people coming on and sharing, intimate details about their life, stuff that they're stuck on. So you've been in places where there's the hot seat and somebody puts themselves on the hot seat. So that's the application mastery kind of thing. And I wanted people in application mastery to feel free and safe. And we can create the psychological safety on the call, on the Zoom call with the people who were there. I can't promise anything about people who would listen to the call later and say, oh, Kelsey came on the call and she said, yin, 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 so that's why we've chosen to not record them. As you know, when you get into the accreditation program and you become a practitioner and you get to go to Mastery with Bill. So everybody, Bill McCarley is my mentor, and he's been my mentor, and he's the father of the responsibility material. He's been my mentor for almost 30 years. And so he now mentors our advanced students, and there's a monthly Mastery with Bill that you can attend after you achieve a level called practitioner. And if you do the CRG in 20 weeks and join Mastery, then you can be practitioner right away and you can get to Mastery with Bill. So as you know, Kim Chi, we do tend to record Mastery with Bill because by that point, we believe that everybody has developed their responsibility practice to a level that they're going to be responsible for their own safety. And they're not going to care if somebody else hears that tape in the future. So
thank you.
I'm always happy to revisit it, Kim Chi, and maybe what we do is we pull, we don't record the first couple application masteries with immersion cohort 3, and then after the first couple we poll the cohort and see if anybody objects to recording them. I'm always willing to reconsider things. It's, like good old agile world, it's a trade-off. Other questions?
Hi there.
Hi, is it
Christopher? Hi, my name is Brigitte. I'm calling from Switzerland.
Hi, Brigitte. Welcome.
I'm very interested in it and this program, and I would like to know, as we have a severe time difference. You said before that you will start at this time. Every session will start at noontime in Austin.
It's at 11 a.m. in Austin. Yes.
11. Okay.
Right.
We have 6 o'clock in the evening. It's 7 o'clock, and therefore the question is, how long will the sessions usually take?
90 minutes.
Only 90 minutes, and then that would be feasible.
Very good.
Cool.
Yeah. let me tell you my thinking. Almost 10 years ago, we started the alpha version of this program. And I decided that I would offer the calls at a time convenient for me, because there would no one could figure out a time that would be convenient for everybody.
That's okay.
So it's my program, and I'm going to make it a time that's convenient for me. And those tended to be Mondays and Fridays, because I was more likely on airplanes and flying around speaking and doing workshops during the week. And I was more likely to be home on Mondays and Fridays. And I chose 11 a.m. Central so that we could reach from Pacific time. So it'd be 9 a.m. Pacific, all the way to Northern Europe, where it would be 7 or 8 in the evening. So you heard me say that we have a Finnish contingent, right?
That's perfect.
Yeah, so
that's
perfect. We're optimized for the Americas and Europe, and we're not optimized at all for Asia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great, thanks.
And we have members in Switzerland, so look forward to welcoming you.
Cool.
Yeah.
I guess I know already one or two.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have quite a group in Germany, Austria, Switzerland. Yeah, large contingent there. So yeah, so now we've moved from Monday and Friday, we've moved to Wednesday as our primary day. And one of the reasons was that Friday evening in Europe, is family time. And
yes,
who wants to study responsibility at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock Friday night? So
yes,
we moved to Wednesday. Beautiful.
Cool.
Thank you. What other questions do you have? Or what else?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Catherine.
Is there a community in France? I'm in Paris.
Yeah, I can't hear you very well, but I heard.
Sorry.
You.
Is it better? Is it better?
Yeah, it's a little better.
Yeah. Is there a community in France?
There is a community in France. It's small and growing. Do you know Olivier Mai?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So he's a member, and he's a certified trainer, certified workshop leader for some of our workshops as well. And then years and years and years ago, Awana Yunku, do you know her? Awana Juncu. Okay, so she was popularizing this work around France, I don't know, 10 years ago. She's not currently a member of any of our programs. But yeah, we're starting to get a French community going.
Great.
Look forward to having you join us.